Again, out of frame. Oh, well, sorry. Here we are, the final episode on the exploration of the nature of intelligence. And today, we're going to focus on swarm intelligence, a hive mind style of intelligence, the intelligence of the collective. Because this entire time, we've been talking about intelligence from an idea that of an individual entity, like a person, an animal, etc. But today, I want to focus on this idea of swarm decision making. So this idea comes from the fact that intelligence emerges from the interactions between many agents, whether they're human, animal, or artificial systems. The concept of swarm intelligence explores how decentralized decision making can produce highly efficient, adaptive, and even unpredictable outcomes. Swarm intelligence is based on a few ideas. One idea in particular: no single agent has full control, yet the collective behaves as if it's intelligent. So, this is seen in nature, in ant colonies, in bird flocks when they're flying, and the schools of fish when they navigate the seas. In human society, it's the market, it's social movements, and it's decentralized organizations like a community or a town. And artificial intelligence, neural networks, blockchain technology, multi-agent systems, things of that nature. And there are a few questions that come up that I aim to answer in this video one way or the other, which is intelligence something that must be centralized in a single mind? Can decision-making be more effective when distributed across a network? And can synthetic intelligence develop swarm-based cognition that surpasses individual AI systems? So, let's further break down the idea of swarm intelligence. So, swarm intelligence means that it's a self-organizing system where decisions are made through a distributed interactions rather than a centralized control. It's based on three principles of local decision making. Each agent makes decisions based on local information without needing to see the full picture. Simple rules but complex behaviors. Swarms operate using basic behavioral rules, but large-scale patterns emerge from these interactions. And then decentralized coordination. There is no leader, but yet the system functions as if it has collective intelligence. So, and I've already kind of said the examples of ant colonies being a good example. Not one ant controls the colony, but the interactions of ants working together is what makes the colony. Same thing with flocks of birds and schools of fish. Each individual follows simple rules of stay close, avoid collision, and staying alive. But the group together, they move as a single entity. When you look at the skies, when you go to Discovery Channel or Animal Planet or National Geographic and you see the fish swimming together, that's what I'm talking about. Even orcas, you look at them, even whales, everyone does this. Okay, and in human society specifically, financial markets is a good example, like the stock market, because prices fluctuate based on decentralized buying and selling decisions, and it creates patterns as a result, booms, crashes, and bubbles. And then, protests and revolutions, they often lack a single leader, but they grow based on mass participation and shared signals and ideas. Eventually you will need to have a leader to kind of guide the collective at a particular point of a revolution for it to be successful, but that's a story for another day. And then traffic flow. Traffic. We all love traffic. So, no single driver coordinates in the highway system of how everybody else has to drive. But because of, driving rules, everyone knows what they have to do. And so predictable patterns emerge based on the collective behavior of everybody following the traffic rules. So, I'll keep it a buck. Maybe you're getting tired of me yapping. So here's a visual, a boring graph that shows the strengths and weaknesses of swarm intelligence, swarm thinking, things of that nature. And I'll pause to read that because I'm just going to continue to not waste your time. Now let's look at swarm intelligence in the potential context of synthetic intelligence, artificial intelligence and things of that nature. So, So essentially, instead of the AI having one intelligence system, they should have a swarm of AIs that coordinate in real time, learning from each other and adapting dynamically, you know? Oh, I've been yapping for a while, bro. Sorry. Swarm, like swarm robotics. You know, you've probably seen like the swarm on Night Swarms or whatever in sci-fi. So like small robots working together, used for search and rescue potentially, logistics and autonomous navigation. These are the potential applications. Neural networks and machine learning. So AI models that process information through layers of interconnected nodes and mimic distributed decision making. And then blockchain technology, decentralized system where no single entity controls the network, but consensus emerge from distributed verification and mechanisms. You know, the advantage of a synthetic swarm in this case is that it is scalable to infinity. And does not require human oversight and can function in unpredictable environments. But, you know, it has its disadvantage of being vulnerable to signal corruption and misinformation. Because if the AI reaches full swarm intelligence capabilities, it could shift from centralized AI systems as we have now to decentralized cognitive networks that function more like biological and social intelligence. Kind of like you know, human society is like multiple different intelligences interacting with each other, you know, being victim to misinformation and things of that nature and all that kind of jazz, you know. It's not too different. Only difference is right now it's just like centralized, you know. And swarm decision making in geopolitics and strategy is something I'm interested in, so I will talk about that. Because you know, swarm intelligence is not just a scientific or technological concept. Because you see, swarm intelligence takes place in terrorist networks and guerrilla warfare. Because traditional armies require centralized command, while insurgencies, you know, they function like a decentralized swarm, making them harder to defeat because killing one node would not kill the entire system. Whereas with the army, if you kill the general, you kind of like disable the entire army, you know what I'm saying? And then in economic competition and trade wars, markets often behave like self-organizing and unpredictable, meaning no single nation or corporation has full control over global financial movements, you know? And, you know, when people think about terrorists and stuff, think about that. The president is currently moving as if the entire economy is commanded by the United States, when in reality, it's commanded by nobody and everybody at the same time. So these terrorists are gonna just be like shooting yourself in the foot. But don't take my word for it, I'm not no economist, you know what I'm saying? They're also good for cyber warfare and disinformation campaigns, you know? Because why shoot a bullet when you can have other people shoot each other with bullets? You see what I'm saying? And because mass perception through decentralized networks are very capable of influencing elections, protests, and also public opinion. So economic competition and trade wars, I already talked about that. So yeah, you get the jazz. This is why modern intelligence agencies are focused on controlling narratives at scale, understanding emergent social movements, and predicting how decentralized groups will react to strategic intervention. Thus, an attempt to control the general direction of the swarm intelligence is what intelligence networks and organizations aim to do, with the government being its top client, that is. So yeah, so where does that lead us? You know, what would the future of swarm intelligence look like? And whether humans will ever integrate such an idea in its own cognition. Like, are we consciously aware that we are in a swarm intelligence and things of that nature? Like, there could be human AI hybrid networks where individuals are augmenting their cognition through AI-assisted swarm decision-making systems. So we rely on AI to take advantages of the swarm think. Or decentralized governance models where we move away from, you know, hierarchical structures towards self-organizing adaptive government systems that often function like biological intelligence. So essentially mankind doing away with the complex bureaucracy and like government structures for more decentralized, everybody minding their own business kind of thing, but everyone working together for the common good. We have a long way for that if we aim to do that, because evidently you can read the news to see why that's not the case. And then finally, AI-driven economic systems. This is the one that I'm more excited about. Fully decentralized economies where market behaviors are governed by collective AI optimizations rather than human decision makers. We should really experiment with that. That's the one thing we can actually do right now. We have the capabilities, but then billionaires don't really want to lose their peas, you feel me? So it is what it is. Essentially, the swarm intelligence challenges the traditional view of power, leadership, and control. The idea that one central authority must always exist may become obsolete in a world where intelligence is distributed, emergent, and self-adapted. So the final question I'm going to leave to you guys, and please try to comment down below, right? Your answers of the following. If intelligence is no longer belongs to a single entity but emerges from the collective, does control itself become an illusion? And if so, the future may not belong to the individual minds but to networks that think beyond them. And like my final reflections on all these things that I've been talking about. The point I even talked about this in the first place is to deal with the hysteria around AI and to give people a little bit of agency of what they can do. You can create your own swarm intelligence. That's called having a friend group that's really integrated and stuff like that. Being part of a community, right? Where certain rules are common rules of conduct in this world, and you guys work together in a way that kind of aids into everybody's collective well-being by following those rules. In fact, that's why religion is so effective, because it basically does that. If you think about it, you have some rules to follow, you do it, and you get along with other people who follow the same religion as you, most likely, and then you reap the material and tangible rewards of cooperation as a result. It's here and there. It was a very interesting idea to think about how hive minds work in Stellaris, and that's how I came to this question. So yeah, hopefully you enjoyed this series, and see you whenever I do another deep dive, alright? Have a good one. Bye.